Ask a 60-year-old how old they feel. Not how old they are, how old they feel on the inside when no one's watching. Most of them won't say 60. Most of them will say somewhere in their 40s. Some will say younger. There's a name for this in psychology, subjective age, and it shows up in study after study in every culture researchers have checked. The gap doesn't close as people get older. It gets wider. The body keeps aging. The person living inside it quietly refuses to update the file. Welcome back to the plasma state. Today, we're going to find out exactly why that happens, and it's stranger and more literal than feeling young at heart. Here's the part most people already half know, but have never actually sat with. The skin on your hand right now will be completely gone in about a month, replaced by cells that didn't exist when the month started. The lining of your gut turns over in a matter of days.
Your red blood cells are swapped out roughly every 4 months. Your entire skeleton, the actual mineral structure holding you upright, is rebuilt from scratch on a cycle of about a decade. Which means, in a very literal sense, there is a version of your skeleton right now that has never touched the ground the 2016 version of you walked on. The body isn't a thing. It's a process that looks like a thing if you don't stand there long enough to watch it happen. Here's the twist almost nobody mentions when they tell you that you're basically a new person every 7 years line. It isn't true everywhere. Scientists using carbon dating, the same method used to age fossils, looked directly at neurons in the human cerebral cortex, the part of the brain doing your thinking, your remembering, your sense of self. And a striking number of those neurons turned out to be the same age as the person. Not replaced, not renewed. Sitting there since childhood, doing the same job for decades, while everything around them, skin, blood, bone, cycled through generation after generation of new material. So the body you're wearing is mostly a rental, but the machinery doing the noticing is closer to original equipment than almost anything else you own. That should feel strange. Sit with it for a second. Here's a smaller, uglier version of the same fact. Run your tongue over your teeth. That enamel was built once, before you can even remember, and your body has no way to repair it. No replacement schedule, no renewal cycle. Every bit of wear from every year of your life is still sitting there, permanently, because enamel is the one material in you that was never designed to be replaced, only used up. Somewhere in your mouth right now is a piece of the actual child you used to be, worn down but never rebuilt.
Here's the one that should really keep you up. Except it happens precisely because you go down. Every night, somewhere in deep, dreamless sleep, the version of you that narrates your own life quietly switches off. Not dims, off. There's no you in there experiencing the passage of that time. No observer, no witness, nothing keeping score. Researchers who study consciousness describe dreamless sleep as one of the few times a healthy brain produces something close to a genuine gap in subjective experience. And then, without warning, without a transition, without anything bridging the two sides, you wake up, and you're absolutely convinced you were you the entire time. Nobody wakes up disturbed by the missing hours. Nobody demands proof that the person who fell asleep and the person waking up are actually the same one. You've been quietly trusting that leap every single night of your life, without once checking your work.
You've probably heard the old philosophy riddle about the ship that gets every plank replaced one at a time. Is it still the same ship? That riddle is a good start, but it's the wrong shape for what's actually happening to you. A ship is static. You're not. Picture a whirlpool in a river instead. The whirlpool has a shape. It has an edge. You could point at it and say, there it is. But not one drop of water inside it stays for more than a second or two. The water is constantly leaving and being replaced by new water. And yet the pattern, the whirlpool itself, persists for hours, sometimes days, looking like a single continuous object the entire time. That's you. Not a ship with parts, a whirlpool with a shape. The material never stops moving through. The pattern is what your name is actually pointing at.
And this is where it gets genuinely unsettling. Because if the pattern is what persists, then the you of 10 years ago wasn't just replaced physically. It was replaced the same way a whirlpool downstream is a different whirlpool, even if it looks identical from the riverbank. Here's the part that should really bother you. You'd think, even if the body is on a rolling replacement plan, at least your memories of being 20 are solid, recorded, untouched. They're not. Every time you recall a memory, your brain doesn't play it back like a video file. It rebuilds it from parts on the spot. And each time it's rebuilt, small details shift, get colored by who you are now, and get resaved as if that was always the original. Memory researchers have a blunt way of putting it. Remembering is closer to reconstruction than retrieval.
So the 20-year-old you keep picturing when you catch your reflection and feel a small jolt of, wait, when did I get old? That 20-year-old isn't even accurate anymore. You've been quietly editing him or her for years without ever noticing the edits. The ship changed, the river changed, and the map of the old ship you're still carrying around was redrawn from memory, badly, more than once. Cells cycle, bone rebuilds, even memory rewrites itself in the retelling. But something in you has been watching all of it happen, the version of you at 7, at 20, at 45, without itself becoming 7 or 20 or 45. Call it awareness, call it the witness. Every contemplative tradition that's looked closely at this has landed on some version of the same observation. The thing doing the noticing doesn't age the way the thing being noticed does. That might be the actual answer to the 60-year-old who says they feel 40.
They're not lying and they're not confused. They're accidentally describing the one part of the system that was never on the replacement schedule to begin with. If this rearranged something in how you think about the person staring back at you in the mirror, that's exactly what this channel is for. So don't just scroll past it. Hit like so more people run into this the way you just did. And if you actually disagreed with something in here, say so in the comments. Tell me what part didn't land. That's more useful to me than 100 silent likes. So here's the question worth sitting with until next time. If the body is a rental and even memory keeps getting rewritten, what exactly are you protecting every time you say, that's not me anymore, about who you used to be? We'll go looking for that next. Keep your inner light on.